All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Detroit Lions. The NFL draft is officially over, and personally, I think the Lions killed it. I think they did a phenomenal job, to be honest with you. It was as expected. Brad Holmes, this Lions management staff, they know exactly what they're doing, and they're getting their guys, whether it was in free agency, whether it was in the draft. You saw with the additions of guys like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Cameron Sutton, David Montgomery. They brought back Marvin Jones. This team has a plan. They have a direction, and they're sticking to it. And so with the draft, I know, like, particularly their first round pick after trading back to pick number 12 and taking Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama, like, I see everywhere I'm looking, it's like they're giving it an F. They're giving it a D. The best grade I've seen for that draft pick is a C-. And we're going to talk about all of it in today's video because I honestly view Gibbs as a guy who can just take over a game and be a home run hitter. So before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Lions fans, I love you guys as you know it. If you're new to the channel, though, post a bunch of NFL videos, Lions videos a couple of times a week. And now that the NFL draft is over, I feel great because we can finally stop speculating on who's going to take who, where they're going to take them, what they're going to do. So obviously the Detroit Lions, they trade back, they gain some assets, and they go with pick number 12, and they take Jahmyr Gibbs. He's a running back out of Alabama. And once again, I think he is a possible home run hit. And I know the thing is with running backs, it's like, for the Lions in specific, they had the pick number 18. It was like, why not just wait for him at pick number 18? Well, clearly it goes back to they have a plan here. They have a plan here. And if their guy is still available, they're gonna take that pick. I don't think 5 years from now, I don't think by the time Gibbs's rookie contract is up that you're going to look at this pick and be like, why did they take a running back at pick number 12? I know in today's day and age, in today's era with running backs getting injured quite frequently, I just view this move as a needle mover, and I think it could happen immediately. So they also traded DeAndre Swift to the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think I was a little bit surprised, but not really. They lost, obviously, Jamal Williams in free agency, but to be honest with you, Gibbs is a day one starter, and you also have David Montgomery. And we saw last year with the Lions running backs, whether when DeAndre Swift was healthy and Jamal Williams, that having two is better than one. You see it all across the league. Having two running backs is better than having one running back. So especially with injuries and just if you're trying to make a deep postseason run, you definitely want two valuable running backs. I like Gibbs a lot. I like David Montgomery a lot. I know the big thing is like, why would you take him when you have guys like Christian Gonzalez still on the board? Honestly, I understand it. I'm ready for Gibbs to hit the field with David Montgomery in this Lions offense, just so all that hearsay can kind of be squashed. All right. So pick number 18, they get an A+ here. Jack Campbell, linebacker out of Iowa. This is a money move. I mean, all offseason we talked about what does Detroit need? Honestly, anything on the defensive side. Maybe the defensive line is a little bit more set. The addition of C.J. Gardner-Johnson helps out that secondary. But Jack Campbell is a stud. All right, he is a day one impact player. He is, or was, I should say, a lot of NFL analysts' favorite players, like one of their favorite players in the entire draft, not just the first round, not just linebackers, not just outside of top 10 picks. Jack Campbell was one of the favorite prospects in the entire draft, all right, for a lot of these guys. So Jack Campbell's going to come in and help out that linebacker position immediately on day one. So round two, pick number 34, we see another guy, a tight end position, which was another position we've been talking about all offseason. I remember my last Lions video, I was talking about why I want a tight end in the first 3 rounds. A lot of people were saying, why? Well, the bottom line is you lost TJ Hockenson. And I know TJ's future with the team was not ideal. I know, like, it was better that they moved on for him. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay him. Is he really worth it? Well, with an extremely deep tight end class, Brad Holmes and this Lions management are thinking to themselves, we have all these picks in the first 3 rounds. Why not just take a tight end there? Sam Laporta is, if you've heard it, he's kind of, people love to compare him to George Kittle. Having a solid, sturdy, enticing, young tight end is a huge deal. You just think Travis Kelsey, just think George Kittle, think any solid tight end. I like the combination of tight ends that the Lions had. But man, Sam Laporta, he's a borderline first round pick. They took him at 34. That's just a couple of picks outside of the first round. So you lost TJ Hawkinson. And I know the tight end position wasn't like a desperate, dire need that we saw once they did trade away TJ. But I'm serious, and we've been saying this all offseason. Like, the Lions are probably going to win the NFC North. All right. Why would you stop at the NFC North? And it doesn't have to be this upcoming season that you make the Super Bowl run, but they're building up the blocks. They're building up the pieces. I think Sam Laporta really elevates that offense. I think having a good, reliable tight end who can catch, who can block is extremely valuable in the National Football League. And I think we all know that. And I think Lions fans, this is another, to me, at least an A grade. I think Lions fans are going to be very excited, very relieved that they made this draft pick. And I want to say real quick, first off, hit that like button if you haven't already. Let's try and get this video to 250 likes if you're still watching here. I haven't seen too much of what Lions fans are thinking about the NFL draft. So please go ahead, drop a comment down below on your thoughts on any of these draft picks or all of them. Go ahead, give them a grade down below. I'm going to give them a grade right now. I think it's an A-. I think 5 years from now we could definitely be looking at least an A. But personally, I'm not biased. I'm a Packers fan. I think they will be an A+ draft. A-, I think, is just a little bit more. I think it's a safer pick just because of Jahmyr Gibbs. And yeah, that's really it. So, honestly, A- is a great grade. And then second round, pick number 45, we saw Brian Branch. And Brian Branch is another one of those players where it's like he wasn't a first round draft pick. Like, every mock draft you read all offseason had Mr. Brian Branch, the safety out of Alabama, going in the first round, going between picks number 15 and 25. This is a day one starter. This is an immediate need, an immediate hole filled for this Detroit Lions defense that wasn't even bad in the second half of last season. After they went 9-8, we saw all second half of the season. They're continuing to build. They're continuing to get sturdy veterans and just young, enticing talent. You pair Brian Branch up with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I mean, the secondary was like a big hole for the Detroit Lions. I'm not really seeing it anymore. I think at worst they're going to be middle of the pack, and long term they're going to be studs. The last pick we're going to talk about here is Hendon Hooker, and I just wanted to comment on it real quick because when I actually saw the Detroit Lions drafted Hendon Hooker, I was like, oh shit, like they actually did it. They got him in the third round. There were some mocks saying Hendon Hooker is going to be a first or second round draft pick. I think this is money. You want a backup QB first off. And I know Hendon Hooker is old. He's over 25 years old and he's a rookie. Hendon Hooker can play, man. This guy was took down Bama, but like he was a legit, for real Heisman. Like he could win Heisman this past year. The last 2 years, Hendon Hooker has been money. He's been the definition of money. And if he didn't get injured last season, and if he wasn't the age he is, Hendon Hooker would have been one of the best quarterback prospects in the entire draft class. So I like the idea of at least having somebody you can hopefully rely on if, God forbid, Jared Goff were to get injured. And even just long term, it's like, all right, if Jared Goff doesn't have a great season, if it hits the fan, let's see what Hendon Hooker can do. So that's it for today. Just kind of a broad outlook. We'll go deeper as the offseason progresses, but hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I will see you guys later.